When greed takes over, the impact on family relationships after a parent's passing. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's both sensitive and important: how greed can impact family relationships after a parent passes away. It's something many families face, yet it's rarely talked about openly. Losing a parent is one of the most challenging experiences in life. It's a time filled with grief, reflection, and a whirlwind of emotions. But sometimes, amidst all the sadness, another troubling issue arises: disputes over inheritance. You might have heard stories or even experienced situations where families drift apart because of disagreements over who gets what. It's heartbreaking to see siblings who were once close become estranged over material possessions. In this video, we'll explore how greed can creep into families during these tough times and change the way relatives treat each other. We'll look at real-life examples, discuss the psychological aspects, and offer some strategies to prevent these conflicts. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's get into it. Understanding grief and greed. First off, let's talk about grief. When we lose someone close, we go through a range of emotions: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and eventually acceptance. These are known as the 5 stages of grief, introduced by Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. It's a natural process, but can be overwhelming. Sometimes, in the midst of this emotional turmoil, people latch onto tangible things as a way to cope. Holding on to a loved one's possessions can provide comfort. But when this attachment turns into an intense focus on inheritance, problems can arise. Psychologists suggest that grief can sometimes trigger materialistic behaviors. The need to gain control over something, like assets or belongings, becomes a way to manage the pain. This isn't necessarily about greed in the traditional sense. It's more about trying to fill an emotional void. Understanding this link between grief and material focus is essential. It helps us see that beneath the disputes, there's often deep-seated pain and a longing for connection. Legal aspects of inheritance. When someone passes away, their assets go through a process called probate. This is the legal procedure for settling debts and distributing the estate according to the will, or by state law if there's no will. Sounds straightforward, right? Well, not always. If a will is unclear, outdated, or if there's no will at all, it can open the door to disputes. Family members might have differing opinions on what the deceased wanted, leading to disagreements. It's estimated that a large number of adults don't have a will or estate plan. This lack of planning often leaves families scrambling to figure out the next steps, which can exacerbate tensions. Moreover, disputes over inheritance are a common reason why families fall apart after a parent's death. When there's ambiguity, siblings may feel entitled to more than others or believe they're honoring their parents' true wishes. Understanding the legal framework and having clear estate planning can greatly reduce these conflicts. Impact on family relationships. When disputes over inheritance arise, they can quickly escalate. Siblings might accuse each other of favoritism, manipulation, or unfair dealings. Trust, which may have taken a lifetime to build, can be shattered in an instant. Communication often breaks down. Instead of open conversations, family members might resort to legal threats or stop talking altogether. What was once a close-knit family can become divided, with each person feeling wronged. Family therapists point out that these conflicts aren't just about money or possessions. They often unmask hidden resentments and unresolved issues among family members. Research indicates that many families experience conflict as a result of inheritance issues. In some cases, these conflicts lead to prolonged estrangement, affecting relationships for years to come. These realities highlight a harsh truth: greed-fueled disputes can have lasting effects. They can lead to siblings missing out on each other's lives, nieces and nephews not knowing their cousins, and the fragmentation of extended families. It's not just about the immediate fallout. The emotional scars can persist, impacting future generations. Trust is hard to rebuild once it's been broken. Understanding these potential consequences underscores the importance of addressing greed and finding ways to prevent these conflicts from tearing families apart. Real-world examples. Let's look at some examples to put things into perspective. While the names are fictional, these stories reflect real situations that many families face. Example 1, the Johnson family. When Mr. Johnson passed away, he left behind a substantial estate, including a family home and investments. His 3 children, Emily, Michael, and Sarah, had always been close. However, his will ambiguously stated that the home should go to the child who needs it most. Emily believed she deserved the house, since she had cared for their father in his final years. Michael argued that as the eldest, he should inherit the primary residence. Sarah felt she needed it most due to her financial struggles. What started as a discussion quickly turned into heated arguments. The siblings stopped speaking, and the dispute ended up in court. Years later, they remain estranged, with deep resentment overshadowing any fond memories. Example 2. The Davis estate battle. The Davis siblings, Mark and Lisa, found themselves in a legal battle over their mother's estate. Their mother had a clear will, but Mark contested it, claiming undue influence by Lisa. The legal fees piled up, consuming a significant portion of the estate. In the end, both received less than they would have if they had settled amicably. Moreover, the prolonged stress and bitterness damaged their relationship beyond repair. These examples show how greed and disputes can have devastating effects, not just financially, but emotionally. Families are torn apart, and once loving relationships become sources of pain. It's important to learn from these stories. They serve as cautionary tales of how not to handle inheritance issues and highlight the importance of communication and planning. Strategies to prevent greed-induced conflicts. Now that we've seen the impact, let's explore how to prevent these conflicts. Open communication. It's crucial for parents to discuss their estate plans with their children beforehand. This transparency helps set expectations and reduces surprises that could lead to disputes. Clear legal documentation. Having a detailed, up-to-date will or trust is essential. Clearly outlining how assets should be distributed leaves little room for interpretation. It's wise to work with an experienced estate attorney to ensure everything is in order. Involve neutral third parties. If there are concerns about fairness or potential conflicts, bringing in a mediator or legal professional can help facilitate discussions. They can provide impartial advice and help navigate sensitive topics. Regular family meetings. Holding family meetings to discuss estate planning can be beneficial. It allows everyone to voice their thoughts and concerns in a controlled environment. This can strengthen family bonds and ensure everyone is on the same page. Consider unequal but equitable distribution. Sometimes equal distribution isn't necessarily fair due to differing needs among children. Parents can explain their reasoning to prevent misunderstandings later on. Include personal items in the will. Personal belongings often carry sentimental value and can be a source of conflict. Specifying who gets significant items can prevent disputes. By taking these steps, families can minimize the risk of greed disrupting their relationships. Psychological support and healing. Dealing with the loss of a parent is tough. Seeking emotional support can make a big difference. Grief counseling. Professional counselors can provide tools to process emotions healthily. They help individuals navigate their grief without projecting it onto others or material things. Family therapy. Engaging in family therapy sessions can improve communication and understanding among siblings. It provides a safe space to express feelings and resolve underlying issues. Prioritize relationships. Remember, relationships are more valuable than any inheritance. Material possessions can't replace the love and support of family. Self-care. Taking care of one's mental and physical health during this time is essential. Activities like exercise, meditation, or hobbies can provide relief. By focusing on healing and maintaining strong family ties, it's possible to honor the memory of the loved one and prevent conflicts fueled by greed. To wrap things up, greed can significantly impact how family members treat each other after the loss of a parent. It's a complex issue intertwining grief, legalities, and personal relationships. We've explored how unresolved emotions and unclear estate plans can lead to conflicts, sometimes tearing families apart. But it doesn't have to be this way. By fostering open communication, planning ahead, and seeking support, families can navigate this challenging time with unity and understanding. If you or someone you know is going through this, I encourage you to take proactive steps. Have those tough conversations, prioritize your relationships, and seek professional guidance if needed. Thanks for joining me in this important discussion. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.